Before the start of the 19th century, a series of political unrest spread across Europe. The French Revolution, followed by the Napoleonic Wars, led to what is known as the Congress of Vienna. Clemens von Metternich was tasked to keep the peace in this new political system. He devised a type of police system where anyone would be able to report a crime. However, despite his good intentions, this turned into what I like to call snitch culture. This snitch culture drove everyone to spend more and more time at home or at trusted friends' homes, and thus the Biedermeier movement was born. Biedermeier is a term used to describe the way of life during this post-Napoleonic Wars time, in which comfortable, ornate furniture and various decorative or pastime arts grew in popularity. Here's a painting depicting what a small gathering during this time might look like. As you can see, there are many people gathered in what appears to be a central gathering room. In the back, there appears to be a skit going on while Schubert sits at the piano and everyone else gathers around in discussion. Next, we have a Biedermeier-style furniture piece with its ornate wood design both on the inside and the outside drawers, as well as two columns along the outside of the dresser. During this time, we also see a shift in the arts, coming from a time of back-to-back revolutions and political unrest. The common early 19th century person strove to transform the way in which we perceive the world. Led by the Schlegel brothers and their circle in Germany in the late 18th century, themes in various literary outputs became more about freedom, personal feelings, and individual thought. Later, the term Romantic was used to describe the literary and artistic themes during this time. However, even by the middle of the 18th century, both the specific evocation of an idealized medieval heritage and a more generalized embrace of the irrational, the fantastic, and the freely imaginative were established meanings of the word in England and France. Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a Swiss philosopher, theorist, and composer, believed that the artist should aspire through spontaneity of expression towards the dignity of the natural man. This belief left its mark on both Goethe and Schiller and played a part in the formation of the Romantic hero in literature. Following suit, as music so often does, music puts emphasis on originality and individuality, personal expression, and freedom of experimentation of form. Many music critics over the years have studied which composers mark the beginning of the Romantic period. One such writer, E.T.A. Hoffmann, stated that Ludwig van Beethoven is one of the main transitional composers, with hints of Romanticism found as early as some of Beethoven's midlife works. Some less controversially Romantic composers include Frédéric Chopin, Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy, Johann Strauss, and Franz Schubert. Felix Mendelssohn Bartholdy grew up learning the classical style of music, which greatly affected his traditional style of composing Romantic works. Oftentimes, Felix would blend different classical or Baroque styles into his symphonies, chamber works, and oratorios. Frédéric Chopin is widely known for his romantic piano compositions, more specifically his character pieces. He composed countless character pieces, including the Nocturne, concert etudes, impromptus, mazurkas, and the waltz. Johann Strauss II is known for his influence on dance music of this time and was even given the name Waltz King. The music we have been listening to in the background is one of Johann Strauss II's waltzes, titled Voices of Spring Waltz. It is also known as this, but I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Franz Schubert is widely known for composing hundreds upon hundreds of Lied, which brings us to our next topic. By the early 19th century, Lied had already been established as a music genre. However, the intellectual climate of the time was not conducive for music which emphasized the expression of feelings and individuality. It wasn't until after the Biedermeier movement began that Lied rose in popularity. At this time, Lied directly mirrored the themes and ideas found in the literature of the time, in part due to the nature of how Lied was composed. The composer would take a poem and compose a piano accompaniment that enhanced the image portrayed in the lyrics. An example of this is Auf dem Weiser zu singen by Schubert. This piece beautifully exemplifies Schubert's ability to invoke an image using the piano. The poem was written by Count Stolberg, who was a Danish diplomat, and the theme of his poem uses the shimmering of the water and the rocking of the boat to suggest a state of approaching somnolence and the contrast between introspective and carefree, warm-hearted and loving, straining to seize a moment of beauty and warmth, yet aware of the approach of darkness and death. Schubert skillfully paints this picture of the tranquil waters and the rhythmic beating of the underlying waves, while maintaining the thoughtfulness of the underlying contrasting ideas. Before I get into how he accomplishes this, let's take a listen to the piece. We can hear that the essence of the shimmering water is felt in the right hand with the continuous 16th notes, while the rocking of the boat is portrayed in the left hand, jumping up an octave in each measure. Schubert maintains this underlying contrasting feeling by modulating from A flat minor to A flat major. This shift in mode seems to suggest the movement between two different worlds, both physically and emotionally. Lied became one of the most popular early Romantic Biedermeier genres, along with the character piece and dance music. This is in part due to the revolutionary, thought-provoking, and individualized themes of the poems. There are many factors that influence the musical output of the early Romantic time. However, it is clear to see that the political unrest leading into the 19th century was one of the largest influences at the time.